Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our class of plant systematics with the topic of families. Although we are still stuck with the Apiaceae and it has been quite a few days that we have come back. In the previous two videos, in fact the first videos was just an introduction or to encourage you to study families or the characters of the families or taxonomic characters. In the previous video we discussed the distinguishing characters of the Apiaceae. So now we are going to start its general characters, the overall characters from the family Apiaceae. So let's dig in and find out what are the general characters of Apiaceae. So we start with distribution, that where this family is found on the globe, on our planet, or in the biosphere. So as the first statement says, that mostly you will find one or more species around the world. So it is not restricted to a particular part of the globe. So mostly found everywhere, although abundance is different in different parts, as we are going to see. So mostly common in the temperate areas or the temperate upland areas. So let's find out what is this temperate area, and we are going to find out the temperate part of the world. So this is our globe. I'm going to give you just an introduction to these various parts. So this is North Pole and this is South Pole. South Pole. An imaginary line drawn between the two poles, this is equator. And then 23.5 degrees north of equator and 23.5 degrees south of equator. This 47 degrees is the tropical area or tropics. So this is tropical area, also called tropics. Now these lines which mark the boundary of the tropical area on either side of the equator, on north or south, they are known as, this particular line on the north is known as Tropic of Cancer. And this one is known as Tropic of Capricorn on either side of the equator. And then about 12.5 degrees north of equator and 12.5 degrees south of equator is known as subtropics. So this is subtropical area. Subtropical area on either side of the equator. So 12.5 degrees north of Tropic of Cancer and 12.5 degrees south of Tropic of Capricorn is the subtropical area. So this is subtropical area and this is also subtropical area. So we were we are discussing this to find out the temperate zone. So this is temperate zone. About it extends from 35 degrees to about 66 or 66.5 degrees, where the polar region starts. So this area, say this is 66.5 degrees. So you can make the calculation yourself. Subtract 35 from 66.5 and you get about 31 degrees, 31.5. So say this is 66.5. So this area on either side of this boundary of the subtropical is known as temperate. So this is temperate area. So temperate area extends where from where the subtropical area ends to this polar region. So this is all temperate and this is the temperate zone. Hopefully you get the idea that where are these various zones, the major zones in which our globe or our earth is divided. So temperate area, once again, just to recap, we have poles, North Pole and South Pole. A line drawn between the two poles is the equator, 23.5 degrees north of equator, 23.5 degrees south of equator is the tropical area. So it makes 23.5 plus 23.5 is equal to 47. So these 47 degrees, this one is the tropical area, and then 12.5 degrees towards north, 12.5 degrees towards south, we have subtropical. And these lines which mark the boundary of the tropical areas, they are known as Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So this is on the south, this is Tropic of Capricorn, and this is Tropic of Cancer. And then 12.5 degrees subtropical, and about, now this make about 35 degrees from equator. So 35 degrees on either side of the boundary of the subtropical area starts the temperate zone, and this temperate zone extends to the polar region about 66.5 degrees towards north as well as south. So this area and this area, this is the temperate zone. So most commonly the family Apiaceae is found in the temperate and temperate upland areas, the higher areas of the temperate zone. You will find them in the tropical areas, but they are relatively rare in tropical latitudes. That is the 47 degrees zone that I have just shown you on either side of the equator. This is the tropical zone. So they are relatively rare in this particular zone, in the tropical zone. Now, as far as the number of the species and where they are most abundant are especially this particular word native, that is they exist there right from the beginning or from the start, or they are well adapted to that particular environment. So a plant which is native to a particular area, so 2/3 of the species, we are not talking about any genus or groups, species of the Apiaceae, they are restricted to, or they are found in the Old World. Now this is another division of the globe as far as the continents are concerned. So we have a diagram for you, and this is the dark green shaded area is the Old World. Actually, this is Europe, Asia, and Africa. They are known as Old World because America was found later by Columbus, so they are known as New World. Similarly, Australia and New Zealand and these islands, they are known as New World. This is also New World. So these dark green shaded areas are Old World. So we are also in the Old World, Asia. So this is Asia, and this is Europe and Africa. So 2/3 of the species of Apiaceae, they are native to Old World. So this was its distribution, most common in temperate, rare in tropical areas, and as far as abundance is concerned, so it is abundant in the Old World, especially Asia and Europe. So now we move on to its characters. So this was its distribution. Discussion of the general characters can be divided into two groups. So we are going to discuss them separately: vegetative characters and floral characters, or the reproductive characters. So first we are going to discuss its vegetative characters, the habit, root, stem, and leaf, and then we are going to discuss its flower, inflorescence, flower, and so forth. So first of all, vegetative characters. So habit. As I told you in the previous video, habit is a term used for the overall form, how a plant looks like, so it is its habit. So we have three major groups in the habit, and that is herb, shrub, and tree. Now again, as I told you in the previous video, this is not a very technical uh, classification of herb, shrub and tree, but this particular classification is very handy when we are to identify or when we are discussing about a plant that it is a herb. So we are going to find it in or among the plants which are herbaceous, which are mostly small, soft and green. Their stem are soft and green, which can be easily bent or broken. The shrubs and trees. So as far as its habit is concerned, so they are mostly herbs and annual and perennial, and also, although it's not given here, you will also find biennial herbs as well. So we have annual herbs, perennial herbs, as well as biennial herbs in Apiaceae family. Annual, this is the lifespan or the duration of a plant, how long a plant lives. Now usually when we talk about a plant or an angiospermic plant, we mostly start its life from seed. When the seed is sown, and what we get is a seedling, small plant that emerges out of the surface of the soil, so that is seedling. Then seedling grows into full-fledged plant, and then this particular plant sets seed, produces seeds, and usually if the plants after setting the seed dies, then it is an annual plant. That is, it remains active or it remains alive for one growing season. Usually we call it a growing season and not a year, because the growing season is the one in which the seed grows, it germinates, it produces seedling, full-fledged plant, and then the seeds are set, the plant produces flowers, pollination takes place, and all the stages between the seedling and the seed, and then seeds are set, and then the plant dies. So this time span or this period varies among different plants. Some plants can take it several months, other in areas where their favorable season is very short, like in the deserts, so it is just a few weeks, and in the polar regions or colder regions where spring is very short, so the plants have a very limited time to grow, so they complete their life cycle within that short span of time. So this is what we are referring to growing season. So when a plant remains alive for only one growing season, so this is annual. And if a plant remains alive for several seasons, for many years, then it is a perennial herb, say ginger like. So plants like these, they usually produce underground parts which remain alive below the surface of the soil. The aerial parts of the plant, they die, and the underground parts remain alive. Next season they produce new aerial shoot, and the story goes on. So perennial, which lives for many years, like we have trees. Now the trees produce fruit every year, and then the trees remain there. The fruits, after producing fruit, the trees do not fall off or they do not die away, they remain there. So they remain alive for many years. So this is what we call perennial. Biennial for 2 years, for 2 seasons. Usually in the first season, the plant produces vegetative body, that is leaves, and a full-fledged plant, but it does not produce flowers. The flowers are not set, there is no seed setting, and at the end of the first season, the plant usually produces some underground part, underground like root. And a very famous example of this particular family is carrot. So carrot is actually a root, underground root, which is produced, and then from this underground root next season aerial shoot arises, and that produces flowers and seeds. So and the plant dies. Like in radish and Brassicaceae family, this particular phenomenon is very common, biennial. So radish is a biennial plant. So plants of this particular family, they are annual as well as perennial, and they are mostly herbs. Occasionally, the Apiaceae plants are suffrutescent. Suffrutescent is a term used for herbaceous plant in which, for example, this is a plant, these are its roots in the soil. Now the lower part of the plant usually becomes very hard or it becomes woody, and the upper part remains herbaceous. The upper part or the rest of the plant, it remains soft and green, whereas its lower part, which is close to the soil or the earth, it becomes hard and woody. So such a plant or the stem or habit is known as suffrutescents. So there are also suffrutescent species or plants in family Apiaceae as well. Rarely you will find undershrubs, that is they are neither herbs nor shrubs, in between, intermediate form between the herb and shrub, so undershrub. Or they may be shrubs with aromatic odor, a foul type of smell, not a very good smell. So aromatic odor some of the plants have. But there are also climbing plants as well. They climb with the help of petiole, pseudocarum. So pseudocarum is a climbing plant in family Apiaceae. So mostly they are herbs, annual or perennial, also biennial. Sometimes their stem may be or habit may be suffrutescent, woody below and herbaceous above. There are also undershrubs and shrubs with odor, aromatic odor, and we also find some climbing plants like pseudocarum. So this was the discussion of the habit. We shall discuss more characters in the next video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.